Have any American citizens been deported? That simple question from Senator Slotkin just exposed the most dangerous overreach in modern immigration enforcement. What you're about to witness is a CIA veteran systematically dismantling Homeland Security Secretary Noem's defensive operations that have allegedly removed U.S. citizens, including children with cancer, from their own country.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you for being here. You know, Michigan's a border state, so we need each other. We have a very big bridge that's being inaugurated, ribbon cut in September. We need that to be fully staffed. We have a lot going on in Michigan as a northern border state, so we need each other. But what I'm concerned about is that you've taken the mandate to close off the border beyond going after, as you say, the, quote, most dangerous illegal immigrants. I'm a CIA officer. I worked my entire life to protect the homeland. If someone's here illegally, they need to not be here. They've committed a crime by being here. They need to go back to wherever they're from. But my concern is that either through sloppiness or intent, you have gone far beyond going after the, quote, most dangerous illegal immigrants and gone into legal immigrants who were given the ability to be here, and even American citizens. And when I think about that, you know, there are lots of people in this country, including me, who have families who fled this kind of environment where they have no rights, where they have no due process, where they don't have habeas corpus. So while I'll be the first to say, coming from a state that was won by Trump, that there is a mandate to do something about the border, I think it is absolute dangerous overreach to go beyond that and start picking up American citizens and people who have the legal right to be here, lawful immigrants who have done everything right. So first and foremost, do you acknowledge that your department has made some mistakes, any mistakes, in going after either American citizens or legal immigrants here in the time that you've been in office?
We have not deported any U.S. citizens.
Detained?
Or people get interviewed. If they get interviewed and they go through that process and if we find that they're U.S. citizens or legal immigrants, they stay in the United States.
Have you deported
we have to go through the vetting process.
Have any American citizens, including children, been deported during your time in office?
We have children that mothers have chosen to keep with them. So those
By my
mothers
count, you have 10 American citizens, including children with cancer, who have been deported out of the country. I understand you're saying it's their choice.
But the mothers,
it's hard to imagine a small child having a choice. But have you gone after legal immigrants? Again, your standard in your opening statement was the most dangerous illegal immigrants. Does that include PhD students and master's students at colleges across the country, unarmed? Are they the most dangerous illegal when they have status and no weapons?
I don't decide who gets status through a student program. This Department of State decides that, and we enforce it.
Oh, come on.
That's what our Department of Homeland Security does.
I just would offer that, again, I have no qualms with going after folks who are here illegally. That is not my concern. That was part of my job, was to prevent people from coming here illegally in a former life. My concern is you're sending a chill down the spine of America by going after people who either have legal status or American citizens. And when my colleagues ask you about habeas corpus, and you say, literally, we can review the tape, that you believe it's a right the president has, you sat here in front of all of us and swore an oath to the Constitution, and that is not at all what habeas corpus is. It is a right that we all get, that American citizens get, that people who are in the United States legally have. So my concern is, it's complete overreach. I don't think American citizens, even those who voted for Trump, believe that you should be able to just grab someone off the street, sloppy, who has the legal right to be here, and certainly an American citizen. And I just am concerned that while you say you're going after the most dangerous folks, what you're actually doing is going after folks for political reasons, right? A PhD student that's unarmed is not at the top of the list.
And we're not deporting U.S. citizens, and we're not deporting people who have legal status here.
10 American citizens
If the children have gone with their parents, it's because their parents wanted them with them. So let me ask you another question
about cybersecurity. You know, you've cut $500 million from the budget. What specific programs are you cutting? Because there are programs that really aid states and locals that we depend on for cybersecurity. And we know that right now, while we may have good security in the federal government, if you are a local state official, you're depending on the federal government. So have you cut the ISAC program, the program to states and locals on cybersecurity?
The president's recommended budget has a reduction in $491 million.
Does it cut that program? I've heard the talking point.
And what it's doing is putting
cut the
CISA
program
back on mission.
And it's
you can't
ensuring
say
that this is the most
cybersecurity is going to be
cybersecure.
strengthened.
You cannot say it's the most cybersecure administration if you're cutting the program to my state and to your state.
It will
and if you
be
look
when
on
we-
record, that's what you've cut. I yield back.
Time has expired. Senator Hawley.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Noem, good to see you.
What Senator Slotkin accomplished in this exchange wasn't just effective questioning, it was surgical exposure of how immigration enforcement can spiral beyond constitutional boundaries when oversight fails. The core revelation here cuts to the heart of due process and what happens when government agencies operate without clear accountability mechanisms. Slotkin's opening establishes crucial context. As a former CIA officer from a border state, her concerns transcend partisan politics. When she acknowledges Trump's mandate while drawing red lines around constitutional protections, she's separating legitimate enforcement from dangerous overreach. Her phrase sloppiness or intent captures the two pathways to constitutional violation: incompetence or deliberate abuse of power. The semantic dance around deportation reveals how agencies manipulate language to avoid accountability. Noem's distinction between deportation and families choosing to stay together is legally meaningless when the practical effect is identical: American citizens removed from American soil. When a government official argues that children made a choice to leave with deported parents, we're witnessing bureaucratic doublespeak designed to obscure state action. Slotkin's focus on PhD students exposes another layer. These aren't individuals in legal gray areas. They have documented status through official channels. Targeting them contradicts Noem's stated priority of the most dangerous illegal immigrants. A PhD student with legal status represents the opposite of that standard, suggesting either mission creep or deliberate expansion beyond stated parameters. The habeas corpus exchange reveals fundamental misunderstanding of constitutional protections at enforcement's highest levels. Habeas corpus isn't presidential prerogative, it's judicial check on executive detention power. When cabinet officials mischaracterize basic constitutional principles, it signals institutional breakdown affecting everyone under federal jurisdiction. Slotkin's questioning strategy demonstrates effective oversight. She demands specific acknowledgement of mistakes, concrete numbers, and clear policy boundaries. Her insistence on distinguishing between deportation and family separation forces officials to own human consequences rather than hiding behind procedural language. The chilling effect extends beyond immigration enforcement. When agencies target individuals with legal status without clear justification, it creates uncertainty for entire communities. Legal immigrants, naturalized citizens, and birthright citizens begin questioning their security under law. This reshapes how everyone interacts with government institutions. The cybersecurity budget cuts reveal another dimension of institutional degradation. While claiming to prioritize national security, the administration reduces critical infrastructure protection for states and localities. This creates vulnerabilities that adversaries can exploit while federal attention focuses on immigration theater. When cybersecurity programs that protect election systems, power grids, and local government operations lose funding, the nation becomes less secure in measurable ways. What makes this exchange significant is how it illuminates the gap between political rhetoric and administrative reality. Campaign promises about border security translate into enforcement actions affecting citizens and legal residents, often without voter-expected precision. Slotkin's questions force reckoning with that gap. The institutional implications extend beyond immigration policy. When agencies operate without clear boundaries, make mistakes without acknowledgement, and use linguistic maneuvering to avoid accountability, they establish precedents future administrations can expand. The question isn't just whether 10 American citizens were effectively deported, it's whether the mechanisms that allowed it remain in place. This pattern of bureaucratic deflection has historical parallels that should concern every American regardless of party affiliation. When government officials redefine constitutional violations as procedural choices, they're borrowing from authoritarian playbooks that treat legal constraints as obstacles rather than foundations. The erosion happens incrementally, first targeting the obviously vulnerable, then expanding the definition of who qualifies for aggressive enforcement. Democracy depends on institutions that distinguish between legitimate enforcement and overreach, acknowledge mistakes quickly, and maintain clear constitutional lines. Slotkin's questioning tests whether those safeguards still function when political pressure demands results regardless of legal constraints.